I love that. Bless the beasts and the children. And I live really in the country. I live in Desert Edge. And I sprinkle bird seed out, by the fountain. And the doves, the quail, the bunny rabbits, the squirrels, the chipmunks, they all gather together. And there's such an energy of peace. They're all there at this amazing banquet of life. And as we come together and acknowledge that this gentle art of blessing is to be in the world, but of a much higher vibratory frequency, to be in the world and not of it. What did Jesus mean? He meant live our lives, be in the world, give, to that which needs to be given. But no, God is our source. And one of the things that he did when they came to him about feeding the 5,000, do you remember what he did? I mean, he didn't say, oh, don't come to me with this. I got enough on my plate. He took the 5 loaves and fishes, he lifted it, and he said, thank you, Father, that thou hast heard me, and I know that thou hearest me always. And he said, feed the multitudes. And that divine substance multiplied. And everyone was fed. Now, I love our sacred mythology because we are fed through the Holy Spirit. And that Holy Spirit lives and moves and has its being at the center of each and every one of us. And in metaphysics, we know energetically that we are created in the image and likeness of God, which makes us co-creators with the Creator. So energetically, we are here to do our work, to live our lives, and to acknowledge that each of us, we have a destiny to fulfill. And that when we avoid our destiny, it's really interesting. The Apostle Paul said, I must preach the gospel. Woe be it unto me if I do not. So we have a divine appointment. And if you're tuning in at this moment, nothing happens by chance, that this message is for you, that the blessing pressed down, shaken together, and flowing over into every area of our life is the mindfulness that Reverend Damien shared with us of this moment is a blessing. And it is so interesting. I had a conversation with someone this week, and I love her dearly. And she was very concerned about at work. There's some younger people coming up in the company, and she's in her 60s. And she said, I feel like it's kind of a bias against elders. And I have an advocate who's my boss who's leaving, in June. And she said she was very fearful about that and fearful of her job. But the truth is, and what I know, and it does work, everything that we bless, we transform the energy. Now, I know that there are people, in the 46 years of my ministry that have not related to me, that I've reminded them of whomever, and that we are never going to please these people. But we still bless them. And as we bless them, what do? What did Jesus say? Just wipe the dust from off thy feet and go thy way in peace. That we're not going to vibrate to everyone. And they're not going to vibrate to us. It's not bad or good. It's just the way it is. We all come together through a vibrational frequency. And this is when Tesla said, if you want to know the secrets of life, think in terms of energy, frequency, and what? Vibration. That takes it out of the realm of personality and places it within the realm of what? Principle. So, and when we are in principle, we're not judging all of these little hurtful things that can go on the human level that we could give our power and our energy away to, right? And I want to share something that was so powerful for me. When I was voted in as the president of the International Foundation for World Peace and Research, this was in Africa at a conference. And the Doctors Without Borders, Attorneys Without Borders, professors from all over the world, Croatia, Poland, Warsaw, all over. And we were all part of a team. And we would come to these conferences and we would share from our hearts and our expertise. And it was on world peace. And being raised in domestic violence myself and making the choice for peace transformed my life completely. So I was detained for this meeting. And when I went in, they had said, Dr. Danny Shumad, who had created a clinic there at Madonna University in Nigeria, Africa. And he was the chief of staff of Hamburg University Hospital. So when they would have equipment, up level or upgrade their equipment, they'd send all the older equipment to Africa, which worked perfectly. It just wasn't at the standard that they wanted in Germany. So he created this amazing clinic, and it was just wonderful. And so when they said, we have voted you in as the president, and I said, I'm this Palm Springs minister. You're all, from all of academia. And they said, yes, but when you speak, we learn. And on that day, that was such a powerful moment for me, because we can have all the degrees in the world and be, in very esteemed professions. But this ground of being that we teach in Science of Mind, that we live and move and have our being, is there's a cause and effect relationship in the universe, and that everything has, it's a component that is within us. So every physical thing that we go through, there is a probable psychological cause in mind for what we go through. And for cancer, it's deep, unresolved emotional hurt and disappointment. And I have known so many people that have gotten in touch with those energies, that unfinished business, and had spontaneous healings. I just absolutely love this. So when I went to Africa, and I brought someone with me, and she felt that she needed at least $3,000 to go, because she was leaving her profession and, depended on it. So I spoke with the powers that be, the treasurer, and they had agreed to give her $3,000 to come to Africa and to give her expertise, which was very, very generous, because we're speaking to students, and none of us got paid. But she had some really wonderful expertise on internet and getting the message out there. And this is about 6 years ago. And so she came to Africa, and she gave a very lovely presentation. And she was given, I made sure she received her $3,000. And then it's very rigorous in Nigeria. And it's just, you walk outside and it's very, very humid. You're like soaked. And so I said, we'll stop off in Heidelberg for a week, and we'll renew our energy, and we'll just, I said, so you will have to take care of that for yourself if this is what you choose to do, to go with me, but I need to regenerate. And so she had never even been to Europe. And so she wanted to go to Heidelberg. And it's like Hansel and Gretel. It's got the little castles and all of the little cottages, and it's wonderful. And so at the end of the week, she did not pay. So I went ahead and paid for her for that week, which I never was reimbursed. And what was so interesting, that one of her favorite statements was, "It's unbelievable." And I said, that you're making it. I've been teaching conscious languaging, for all these years. And even before I was a minister, as a practitioner, I taught Science of Mind classes. And we learn about conscious languaging. And when you have something wonderful happen and you say, "It's unbelievable," what does the universe say? Yes, it is. Just gonna, we'll just take that right out. It's unbelievable. If you don't believe it, you don't receive it. So and I used to say unbelievable. And I thought, how can I up level this energy? And so I say now, isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? I just love the way it works. It's so amazing. So I shared this with her. She goes, "Oh no, the universe knows what I mean. When I say unbelievable, I'm just speaking, like it's just really, really great." I said, "But the universe does not have a sense of humor. It just takes the information, thank you, da 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 da." And she really was very defensive. So when I got home from Nigeria, and I loved her dearly, just a dear soul. And what made it interesting is that she was teaching the law of attraction and had a wonderful magazine on the law of attraction. So I thought, to up level her energy, what a wonderful opportunity it is to hone our skills and to be, at that very highest vibratory frequency. And so she was doing an article on me and some of the doctors there at Madonna University and the work that they were doing. And, that was part of it. She's publishing this wonderful magazine. And so when I got home, I was sharing, from my Sunday talk about, the opportunity that we have to up-level our conscious languaging, and that she had, said unbelievable. And we had this interesting discussion about it, because when we say unbelievable, we want the energy to expand, but it's going to contract because we really don't believe it. It's unbelievable. It's a matter of worthiness and feeling deserving. And so somebody had listened to my talk and said that I had put her down. And in my talk, well, that's the furthest thing for me. I share everything as a point of reference, and that we have opportunities to up-level the energy field. And, I was laughing and saying, I say amazing, she says unbelievable. And it was all done, with the very highest intention and done in love. And so I received an email from her, and it was about how she felt that I had divulged this information, that confidential information. And I wrote back and said, but you put it out there, and you put it out there, in public, that this is what works for you, to say unbelievable. And I love you dearly. And, we'll move on from this. Everything is unfolding as it should. And I never heard from her again. Now, we gave her $3,000. She got a trip to Heidelberg, right? That she never paid for. And I just drew the larger circle and included it. But I was stunned for anyone to be teaching the law of attraction, have a magazine on the law of attraction, and not want to grow and unfold. And when certain things are brought to my attention, you know what I say to the person? Thank you. I really appreciate that. So I let it go. But I want you to know that it did not feel good. And it felt very ungrateful on her part. But I let it go, because who am I to judge, right? And I let it go, and I just sent her out a blessing, because obviously for her to be so offended, it's unfinished childhood business, right? Unfinished business from childhood, all the childhood hurts and upsets. And I let it go and blessed her. Well, I want you to know, out of that, my dear Dr. Natarajan, who, wherever I've been in the world, he's always been part of the conference, and he's from India. And every year I would see him for years, 15 years, he'd want me to come to India, and I could never work it out. And so finally, in 2017, I could work it out and went to India. And I went as the president of the International Foundation for World Peace. And so he sponsored me, and I stayed at the Lakshmi Hotel in India, and I did my presentations for the Pongal Festival. I planted a tree with all of the parliamentarians in India. And then after the conference from that weekend, he sent me on a 3-week tour. He hosted me. I had a chauffeur. He had all these beautiful, like, palatial homes all over India. And so when we would arrive, he would send the housekeepers, he would send the chef, they would make my vegetarian meals. We go to all the sacred temples. We went everywhere that you can imagine in southern India, to these amazing, the oldest temples on the planet. And I went to this one that was out in the sea. We had to take a little boat to get there. And then I went inside the beautiful, beautiful temple, and the incense and the energy, and they were oming. And I felt this energy. It was just overwhelming. Just tears came down my face, and I could just feel this energy as I sat and I omed with this energy field of beautiful souls in the temple. And then we left, and he said, now Dr. Natarajan is flying you to Delhi so you can spend the day at the Taj Mahal. So I stayed in this amazing 5-star hotel in Delhi. Another chauffeur came. In fact, my chauffeur, Mr. Pandey, and we hugged. He goes, oh, Mother, you know, it's a great compliment when they call you mother. Mother, I'm just going to miss you so much. And then we had been together like for 3 weeks, driving me everywhere, and we become very close. We hugged. I flew off to Delhi and met another chauffeur that was very kind, spent the whole day at the Taj Mahal, and the energy of that Taj Mahal and the whole story of how this shrine was built for a loved one. And you could feel it. You could feel it. And then I just love the Indian people. They wanted to take pictures with me. And so we have a lot of wonderful memories and photos, because there are no strangers, only friends we haven't met. Then I was chauffeured up to Jaipur. Dr. Natarajan wanted me to see, it's called the Pink Castle. It's like it's just amazing. And he wanted me to take the elephant ride, which I did. And the whole trip, I want you to know, it was so magical. And I thought, you know, my heart was so filled with gratitude. And I thought of this experience with the law of attraction teacher and all that she received, and how I had to really do my work and go within to let it. I mean, I never heard from her again. And when I asked her for one of the magazines, she said, we don't have any more. So we did not even receive a magazine on the article that she did on Madonna University and my role as the president of the International Foundation for World Peace. It was so very sad on one level, right? And on another level, when I let it go, I created the most magnificent, all expense paid trip, and they would not let me pay for anything. And I said, no, I wanted to get souvenirs, and I really wanted to get a ruby necklace because that's my birthstone. Oh no, Dr. Natarajan is getting everything. So gifts and jewelry, I mean, it was the most amazing time. And I really equated it with out of my releasing this law of attraction teacher and publisher, out of releasing it and wishing her well, I created a trip of a lifetime. I mean, I have things around my home that, you know, just so remind me of India. And when I put my foot on Indian soil, I knew on one level I had come home. That energetically, I felt that energy just flow through me. It's so powerful. And to open to the space, to allow the universe to give us its gifts and to be grateful. And as we are through this divine law of gratitude, what happens? We increase our good. Yesterday, the World Day of Kindness, Robbie Motter, who is the president of the Global Society of Female Entrepreneurs, wanted me to say a few words. And so one of the things I shared was that, you know, if you have the opportunity to be right or kind, you know, if it presents itself, choose kindness and you will always be right. If we choose kindness. And that we draw the larger circle. Remember, he drew a circle that shut me out. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. And when we draw the larger circle and include whatever is going on in the energy field, it neutralizes any hurtful feelings that we may have. It neutralizes it. And then what? The heart of compassion understands that everyone comes from their own backgrounds and their own unhealed issues and the things, you know, that we bring to the altar of life. However, when we heal our own issues, then we can truly serve. As Albert Schweitzer said, I don't know what your destiny will be, but this one thing I know, the only ones among you who will be truly happy are those who have sought and found how to serve. It really is about service. It's really about extending that love one to the other and the opportunity that we have to give, and knowing that as we give, we receive, don't we? Because we are really the greatest benefactors. And one of my very favorite writings by Kahlil Gibran in the Prophet is on giving. And he says, there are those who give little of the much that they have, and they give it for recognition, and their hidden desire makes their gift unwholesome. And there are those who have little and give it all. These are the believers in life and the bounty of life, and their coffer is never empty. And it is well to know that in yonder valley, the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space through the hands of such of these of God, as God speaks, and from behind their eyes, he smiles upon the earth. And from yonder valley, the myrtle breathes its fragrance into space, because that's just what the flower does. It gives of its fragrance, its energy, its essence. When we give from our energy and our essence energetically, what? God speaks through all things. And suddenly we are taken on a magic carpet ride through India that is so miraculous, mystical, and magical out of our willingness to draw the larger circle. Remember, gratitude is the brightest beam to heaven. We've all suffered. We've all had the angst of just daily life at times. But the truth is, those are the deepening energies that give us a quality in life of compassion, because we've been there. We can compassionate with one another. We can extend kindness in so many ways. I love what Mother Teresa said. I saw a man today who didn't have a smile, so I gave him one of mine. Energetically, we are going to give out of our essence, out of who we are, and the opportunity to be in the world, but of a higher vibratory frequency, because remember, life is a spiral. Have you seen the chambered nautilus? They're just so beautiful. In fact, I have a few around. And that wonderful poem about the chambered nautilus, choose thee more stately mansions, O my soul, as the swift seasons roll. Leave thy low vaulted past for a dome more vast. Because we're growing, we're unfolding in miraculous ways. And through this energy, guess what? We are the greatest benefactors. So I say to you, we're all going somewhere. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place and we will not come down. None of these outer things move us. We are in a high place and we will not come down. So I say to you, namaste. The divinity within me salutes the divinity within you. And the divinity within you salutes the divinity within me. And if I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste. And I say shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us every single